In my previous charge, I was chaplain to a boarding school about the same size as Dunbar Grammar, and each year they would all make their way up to the church for their Christmas service on the last day of term. It was a tight squeeze to fit everyone in, but the atmosphere was amazing. And when the rector stood to do the final reading, which, like many of the carols, was the same year after year, the anticipation of going home was palpable. This atmosphere is the same in many lessons and carol services across the country, which sadly cannot take place in person as they would normally this year. Believe it or not, this service became an annual tradition in 1918 at King's College, Cambridge, just after the end of the First World War, during the time of the Spanish flu, to help bring the nation together and spread goodwill, and is broadcast all over the world now. It is the final reading of that service that I want to share with you this morning, before we talk about light and darkness on this, the shortest day and longest night of the year. As I stand before one of the many stars you might have seen locally, which are helping us to share the light this Christmas. The reading comes from the first chapter of John's Gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Nothing was made that has been made without him. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. The Gospel of John does not speak about angels coming to Mary, or the shepherds, or the shining star over Bethlehem, showing the wise men where to find the Christ child. It speaks more about a messenger who came before Jesus. Indeed, it was his cousin John who pointed the way to the one coming, who would bring light into the darkness, and he would be Emmanuel, which means God with us, and his name was Jesus. I was driving along the A1 a few weeks ago and heard a new song, The Lighthouse, by Sam Smith, which I thought put this sense of longing for light and hope and the importance of loving each other into perspective in a helpful way for 2020. For there will always be times of darkness, but there will also be light to bring us safely home. Here's the words to the song. Build yourself a boat, babe. Make yourself a sail. Flown into the ocean to nowhere. Yeah, I see you looking for a sign, praying for a beacon. So here's the light. My arms will be wide open for the moment you arrive. Arrive when you set sail on your journey and happiness is far away. Love will guide you till the morning. Lead your heart down to the bay. Don't resist the rain and storm. I'll never leave you lost at sea. I will be your lighthouse keeper. Bring you safely home to me. I will be your lighthouse keeper. Bring you safely home. Yea, I see you're lonely, going in alone. Fire up the engine, stoke the coal. Floating on a feeling, fighting with the tide. Hoping you'll be home for Christmas time. My arms will be wide open for the moment you arrive. My message, as John's was in our opening reading, is that you will know the hope and the light and the safety of love and choose to look for those even on the darkest of days and nights. Whether you are hurting and need someone to talk to, whether you are at home and feel alone, whether you are out in the dark and trying to resist the temptations of those things which you know cause trouble, or whether you are floating on a feeling and fighting with the tide, you will find a light that will lead you safely home this Christmas time. So here's perhaps a more familiar thought about light and darkness to take with you. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, after years of being imprisoned and having all the happiness sucked out of him by the Dementors, Sirius Black shares this profound observation, which I hope you will take with you today. We've all got both light and dark inside us. What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are. This quote is even more memorable due to the fact that he would be the last person to believe that there is a light in every person. This is a great way to think about who or what or how we feed the light or darkness through our actions, not just at Christmas, but all year round. 2020 has been a really tough year for many of us for all sorts of reasons, be it the loss of a loved one or the loss of a job, or the struggles of isolation, or the uncertainties about exams, or the difficulties with learning at home, or separations within or from our families. The list could go on. But it has also been a year where the light has shone through, and I don't mean just on the high street or in our gardens for Christmas time, though that has certainly lifted our spirits. I mean that through many folk who have gone above and beyond to help out, the volunteers who have made meals, done shopping, picked up prescriptions, the healthcare workers who have put themselves at risk day in and day out, the teachers and pupils who've adopted to learning online, and all the ways in which they need the help to get them through. These are the messengers of our time, who bring light and life and healing as they choose to act in a way that is helpful and bring hope to all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness shall not overcome it. For as Dumbledore says in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, happiness can be found in the darkest of times if only we remember to turn on the light. Dumbledore. If you yourself find yourself in a dark place, may others be keeper of that light for you and bring you safely through. And if you're feeling hopeful and helpful, may you go and share that light this Christmas. May you all have a safe and happy Christmas and a healthy and hopefully better new year as we all journey towards the light and look to the stars tonight. For if we do, we may see what is known as the Great Conjunction of Light, or the Christmas star, low on the western horizon, shining just after sunset, brighter than it has done in 800 years, as the planets of Jupiter and Saturn align, weather permitting, of course. So whatever may come, I think you're all stars for making it through this really tough year. And I hope you will know the light and the love of Christmas and share that in practical ways with those closest to you this season. Keep safe and make space for the light to shine, even in these darkest of times. Merry Christmas to you all.